How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Rowlet, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're going to be taking a look at some Pokemon rumors, speculation, and leaks that you guys may or may not be interested in. And we're going to be taking a look at something from, of course, none else than our boy Soul Silver Art. And if you do not know who Soul Silver Art is, he is a leak analyst, and I've explained this in previous videos, but a leak analyst is just somebody who takes recent rumors and leaks and news and breaks them down to try to figure out what the hidden meaning could be behind certain one of these things. And also, this time around, as I mentioned, he's got some new stuff, as well as Kuro Blitz, who is another YouTuber and analyst of the Pokemon anime, more or less, right? So I'll be linking their stuff down below, but they've got quite a few things to talk about today, and I thought we'd take a look at all their conversational topics. So sit back, relax, grab yourself a beverage, and let's get started with the first thing in this case, which is this right here. So this post was made by Soul Silver, and this is about something we covered in a previous video, but this is not the only thing we're going to talk about today. But here's what he said. Possible spoilers. It's possible that Ku's image hinted at what the dragons look like, and what he's referring to here is Ku the Riddler, who is a Riddler that leaked actual information about Legends Arceus and Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl last year. But what is he talking about? Well, he's basically saying that some of these riddles that he gave us could actually be suggesting the actual style and color of one of the legendary dragons which have been speculated, and this is what the Hungry One said. But Riddler Ku suggested purple eyes and red hair, so I think one of the box legendary Pokemon has purple eyes and the other one has red hair, not the third legendary one, which is interesting. And he says here, remember purple iris, red hair, and darker skin. Maybe these are the descriptions of one or both of the legendaries or the third legendary of the trio. And yeah, there you go. So what do you guys think about this? We already talked about this a bit in a previous video, but there's another interesting one. And this comes from Dusty Gogoat and one of his viewers called Gamer Nerd. So shout out to Dusty, by the way, mad lad on YouTube. And of course also to Gamer Nerd here, who said something very interesting, which is Morpeko is the only known Pokemon capable of learning the move Aura Wheel. What if Morpeko was our hint at the next game's mechanic? Seems possible. Now, if you don't know what he's referring to here, Morpeko, which is a Pokemon that was introduced, last generation in Generation 8. But Morpeko has this ability to essentially have two different forms. It's usual form and it's hangry form. And this is really interesting because what these previous games have done, what Pokemon games have done throughout the last, I don't know, 5 generations, is that the generation prior to the next one usually has a Pokemon that hints at the legendary for the next coming game. And we already talked about this in a previous video, and I think Soul Silver even had a post about it. But basically what we're referring to here is that if you look at Pokemon Generation 5, that had the Pokemon Sawsbuck. Sawsbuck was able to change into different forms, which then was the way for them to hint at the next legendary, which was Xerneas in the upcoming game. Then you had, the same thing for other generations going back and forth, or forward rather. And one of these that we were thinking about was maybe it's Toxtricity that's hinting at it or something else, but nobody really thought about Morpeko, which again changes its style and whatnot somewhat, but on top of that has an ability which gives it a literal aura, right? Aura Wheel in this case. So could this be possibly a way for them to hint at the brand new feature? We will have to wait and see if that's the case, or if it's hinting at the legendary, we'll have to wait and see. But do remember that previous generations oftentimes do hint at the next generation. They really do that quite often, so just remember that and keep that in mind, because it is a very important fact that needs to be stated. So that's one of the first things. The next thing is this right here. So this was by Kuro, who basically said it all comes together and put together this massive thread of stuff, just breaking down a bunch of information. I thought we'd take a look at all of this, as there is quite a bit to break down. So let's start with the first one, which is the Azure Glow. Actually, if we go to the top here, y'all remember how in Kalos and Alola League, both Ash's Hawlucha and Torracat used their fighting spirits to take hits and make them stronger, to the point of emulating a Fox bulk up move and Blaze ability. What if Lucario's Aura is able to do this similar feature? And he says the Azure Glow on Lucario is no different from when he uses Aura Storm in Super Smash Bros. Or even Aura Blast in Pokken Tournament, while in Mega Form, thanks to the Synergy Burst Gauge, plus adaptability. Even Greninja was able to break his limits and do a TCG move, which is interesting because the anime is a bit weird about that sort of stuff. In this case here, hey, he's literally using, what is that, fiery shurikens almost? Giant water shuriken in this case, and he even used that in the anime. So there's always an overlap between them there, but they're never very, very literal. But that's one of the first things he said, and he continues on here though. which is this specific post. Maybe more Holon Delta species will serve as the backbone for future regional variants, like how TCG's Psychic type low-key created PLA Hisuian Typhlosion. And what he's talking about here is, if you look at this like Delta species set of Pokemon, this was a set of cards that were made back in the day, like a specific set of them that were made, which featured Pokemon getting different typings. Like, for example, Typhlosion getting Psychic typing here, which doesn't make any sense because, as far as I know, it's not meant to have a Psychic typing. Just saying, okay? But that's what I mean. Like, the possibilities are endless, right? For them using these things as a basis, these cards. And he brought this one up and then quote tweeted it with these ones right here. For example, Go for Gen 9, and then he included Mew, which is Water type in the Delta species, as well as Mew being Fire type in the Delta species with some of the cards it had as options. Same with this. He also had like Mimikyu here with a Water type with the Delta species. You know, I guess this is from the Celebration set with Mimikyu, and also we have a Steel type Zangoose and a Fire type Arbok. I actually had this card myself, but again, this idea of there being like, you know, them using these as a basis for future forms isn't too far-fetched. I mean, they even have this one, Pharaoh, which is an electric type in this case, really weird, Ledian, which is a steel type, and on top of that also Togetic, which is a water type. And remember, these Pokemon still look the same. Like, these could be used as a basis for regional variants, or these could be used as the basis for the brand new feature, just giving certain Pokemon a changed typing temporarily in battle for whatever reason, right? It actually could work. It could be logically, you know, implemented and work, but I don't know if that's going to be the case. However, we continue on forward, and he says here, Renji has a TCG Holon Magnemite poster. That region is heavily known for electromagnetic waves, as well as Mew focused expeditions. And you can see right there on the left, he has that, and he has those posters that are being hinted at. And Holon's Magnemite, in this case, is a card that actually did exist. And I don't know, man, what do you guys think about this? It's kind of a strange little connection. And here's what he said. All right, so maybe this is the third type gimmick rumor for Scarlet Violet that's been going around. Who knows? Ash Greninja was in Alola's demo, and Go Cinderace with Libero, Froakie with Protein, as well as Koharu's Eevee could be great hints of this type change. And again, he refers back to the original post that he already talked about previously, and I'm kind of wondering what this all could lead to. And we go back to the post he had here, which includes a few more of these like actual topics. So let's start with the, you know, first one here, which is this one. It would be actually interesting if the Scarlet and Violet got TCG mechanics akin to the Holon's Delta species, or even the Break Evolution, since the island from Game Boy Color games is actually based off Ireland, geographically near to Galar, and the Iberian Peninsula has Celtic lore, which actually is, well, a literal fact in this case. So I don't know, what do you guys think about that? Because yes, it looks like it was based on that somewhat. So I wonder, what are you guys' thoughts on that? And then he says the TCG basic and special energy cards would be a nice equips. Maybe this is Scarlet Violet's third type gimmick. Colorless would link to Moltres' burn up in Anipoki's JN068. So yeah, you got these, and then you got like, you know, kind of the matchup that would be for them, right? So what are you guys' thoughts on this? I want to just know, what are your guys' honest thoughts on this? Because personally, I wouldn't be against the idea of there being like, you know, a third typing included in some way or shape. Honestly, it just does seem like it could fit pretty well into the rest of this, well, whatever you want to call it, like theory that's going around right now, you know, in terms of what we might be getting. But again, it's all speculation right now. A third typing might be a bit too much, but I do think it's the only logical next step. We've had, you know, like the fourth evolution, right, which is the one missing step that was, you know, missing in the past, right? Because we had, you know, Pokemon evolving up to up to 2 extra stages besides their, you know, first stage, and that was like kind of the limit. And then they gave us Megas, right? Then they wanted to give us special moves, right? They gave us Z moves. Then they wanted to make Pokemon massive, and they did that. Well, honestly, where else can they go? They can't really do minimized Pokemon, making them smaller. That would just be a little kind of dumb, let's be honest. It doesn't seem like a very logical, you know, way of going in terms of design or anything, really. It seems a little dumb. Let's just, you know, be frankly honest here. So where else could they really go? Where would the logical actual path go? And here's like a interesting little summary that somebody put together, which is I guess we can kind of thank, you know, SoulSilver for it as well, but it's a perfect summary of what I think the mechanic might be. And like I said below, if you don't believe Eclipse's info, this breakdown is still valid. Just scratch the penalties and triple battles, but even with all of this, we still are missing a piece. Maybe it has to do with the moves too. All of this leads me to the conclusion that there is going to be a new battle system involving 3 Pokemon at minimum, along with a new gimmick that involves type change auras. So we'll have to wait and see. Sounds right to me. If we we believe Eclipse, then it's just cut the 3 Pokemon thing. And yeah, what are you guys' thoughts? Could this, you know, all connect with the Morpeko thing and whatnot, or not? Yeah, he also added this because we covered this yesterday. So, of course, I forgot to a prominent ID describing what the actual gimmick symbol looks like to me. It's a star diamond of sorts that seems to have light bursting from it. However, it also looks like a turn spinner pointer or something maybe changing from point to point, turn to turn, right? And here's what somebody said here, which was Crab Bucket Escapee. Says, yo, I'm a nobody in Pokemon community and don't know where to bring this up, but has anyone compared the starish logo to the Types Wheel star and then thought the shift gear type changing theory may literally be type shifting left or right on the wheel, which would actually make a lot of sense. Just got to me that the 6 points of the crystal could represent the position of the Pokemon in the triple battles. Have you guys considered that? Which actually is another interesting pointer there, because we have yet to see any connection between Pokemon Masters and the actual mainline games, but Masters does have that whole concept of there being, you know, 3 versus 3. That's the whole perception or like the idea they have going on right there. So could that be what they're doing here? I don't really know, but I'd love to know guys' thoughts and opinions. And that's going to be pretty much it for today's video, guys. I don't think there's really much else to cover. We already covered this massive thread before, so there's not really much else we've missed there, but I want to know your thoughts and opinions down below. Again, thank you for watching. My name has been Ruffle Rel. Make sure to subscribe for future videos, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye, ladies and gents.